Hello everyone and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. Welcome to our channel. In this episode, I'll give you the latest news about what's happening in the world of politics, what's happening in the economy and matters that are important to the country. This channel, the Ignition Time channel, is about the country, the economy, as well as our money. Let's get started. Let's start with this headline on your screen from CNN. Stefanik says she supports the Republican review of President Biden's Arizona victory, and she is essentially embracing former President Trump completely 100%. In fact, Congresswoman Stefanik, who is actually poised to become the next House Republican conference chair, she's poised to replace Liz Cheney from Wyoming, which is a very interesting turn of events in the Republican Party. She says she fully supports a Republican-led effort in Arizona to cast doubt on President Biden's victory. And she said, I quote, "We want to be able to fix and strengthen our election security and election integrity." And this move essentially shows that she's 100% on former President Donald Trump's side, and she has rapidly won support not only from Trump but also from other top Republicans, including Kevin McCarthy. And so this is big news, folks. So she's likely to quickly replace Liz Cheney, who's the number 3 Republican in the House leadership. And keep in mind that Liz Cheney had warned against former President Trump's efforts to essentially delegitimize the 2020 election. In fact, she voted, when I say she, I mean Congresswoman Liz Cheney voted to impeach former President Trump. And that's why there seems to be a growing battle to replace her with Congresswoman Stefanik. And speaking of election integrity, if you remember, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis had in the past repeatedly said that Florida's election was free, fair and transparent. He even called it a model for election integrity. Well, as all politicians do, they change their tune. So Governor Ron DeSantis, who previously called the election fair, now is taking quite a different approach. And his state just became the latest state to pass a restrictive voting bill based on the stuff that former President Trump has been saying over the past few months. Let's roll the tape and hear from the Florida Governor, Ron DeSantis. Let's check this out.
Florida has become the 7th Republican-led state to successfully pass voter restriction laws. The move is in response to baseless allegations of fraud in the 2020 election. The measure restricts the use of drop boxes, adds more ID requirements for absentee ballots, and prohibits any actions that could influence voters waiting in line, things like handing out food or water in the hot Florida sun. Governor Ron DeSantis said he plans to sign the bill after saying Florida's election was
free, it was fair, it was transparent,
making it unclear why this restrictive legislation is necessary.
And speaking of former President Trump, a very, very interesting comment from the Facebook Oversight Board co-chair Hale Thorning-Schmidt. She was addressing the suspension of former President Trump, and she said free speech is not absolute. This is a very interesting segment. Let's roll the tape and see where we stand with this. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's check this out.
So you have diplomatic, business, philanthropic connections all over the world, and I know social justice has been very important to you through your whole career. Is it fair to say that with this decision, the board prioritized immediate harm over longer-term social issues like free speech?
No, I don't think it is. We are very much concerned with free speech. This is one of the reasons why I joined the Oversight Board from the beginning, and also as Prime Minister, I was fighting for free speech in my own country and everywhere else. So this is about that free speech is not absolute. There are things that can limit free speech. And for example, if there's a platform like Facebook and you incite harm and also does it in the moment, it is actually shows that that free speech is not absolute. There is a limit to that. You can't actually incite harm as Mr. Trump did.
Yep, I can tell you that with former President Trump entering politics, things rapidly changed. And if you thought that was interesting, check this out. Andrew Brenner, a state senator from the state of Ohio, thought that he was being extremely slick. He was actually, and you'll see this on your screen right now, he was using a Zoom background of his home office while he was driving, while debating a bill for harsher penalties for distracted driving. I want you to really think about this for a second. A state senator from the state of Ohio essentially was on a Zoom meeting while he was driving and tried to hide the fact with his home office background while he was debating a bill for harsher penalties for distracted driving. Let's check this out. Pretty unbelievable. As you see on your screen, this state senator trying to be extra slick while using Zoom. And shifting gears, let's take a look at some Fox News daytime hosts. Remember, the Fox nighttime hosts have been pushing against vaccinations, saying all sorts of unusual stuff. But daytime hosts, specifically Ducey, this is what Steve Ducey did. He showed off his vaccine card and said, look, we're back on the couch. We've all been vaccinated and we're 6 feet apart. Ainsley demanded to see my vaccination card. Let's roll the tape and check out what's going on with Fox Daytime. Let's watch.
Look, we're back on the couch. We've all been vaccinated and we're 6 feet apart. Ainsley demanded to see my my vaccination card. Here it is right here.
That's happy? The only way I would sit next to you. I needed to see that.
Right. And we had tape measures out. We're separated apart. Although it's just 3 feet now, right?
In the meantime, as all the drama continues over vaccinations, as all the nonsense emerges from Washington, D.C., President Biden has been busy. Here's a brand new clip from President Biden as he continues to push his infrastructure plan. The president is saying, I've never seen a Republican road or a Democratic road. In other words, we need to fix our bridges because we are all Americans and America needs an improvement in infrastructure as far as President Biden is concerned. Let's roll the tape and hear from the president.
When it comes to bridges and roads and the like, I've never seen a Republican or Democrat road. I just see roads. And Mayor, you're a Republican. You wrote a newspaper article suggesting that we, along with the governor, the Democratic mayor of Shreveport, Mayor Perkins, as to why we need the American Jobs Plan, and which is what I'm here to talk about today.
From a Democratic president to a Democratic state senator from Massachusetts, the one and only Senator Elizabeth Warren. She's clearly not in favor of these big tech companies having so much power. In fact, in this segment, Senator Elizabeth Warren, the Democrat from Massachusetts, says companies like Facebook and Google have more power than governments. Yes, that's what she said. And she said it's time right now for the Department of Justice to break up these giant tech companies. Let's roll the tape and hear from Senator Elizabeth Warren.
The giants need to be broken up. And this is true. Facebook, Google, all of them. But the second reason is these people have more power than governments. And that poses a danger to our democracy. It's time right now for the Department of Justice to pick up the antitrust rules that have been on the books for a century and break up these giant tech companies.
And if you thought that was interesting, let's check out a brand new quote from the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. And this is what Mitch McConnell told Tony Romm. And Tony Romm is an economic policy and technology columnist for the Washington Post. This is what he told Tony Romm. He said this in Kentucky about all the economic troubles with the economic recovery of our country. He said, I'm quoting the Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. Regretfully, it's actually more lucrative for many Kentuckians and Americans to not work than work. So we have a workforce shortage and we have rising inflation, both directly related to this recent bill. The Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell slamming the American Rescue Plan, saying that the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan with the $1,400 stimulus checks and the $300 a week booster is going to hurt the economic recovery, is going to make it hard for employers to find employees, and is going to lead to more inflation, is essentially going to lead to prices rising because there's going to be an imbalance between supply and demand. And some more quotes from Mitch McConnell. This time he was speaking with Lindsay Weiss from the Wall Street Journal. A reporter asked Mitch McConnell if Trump's recent attacks on him were a distraction, and this is what the Senate Minority Leader said, and I quote, I'm focused entirely on the present and the future, not the past. And my view at the moment is we need to turn this administration into a moderate administration. Extremely interesting comments. He also said, if I was still the majority leader, I would make sure Joe Biden was a moderate. I'm not the majority leader, but I'm barely not the majority leader. We've got a 50-50 Senate, and I'm still hoping that the administration will pivot to a more centrist position. So there you have it, everyone, the shenanigans that are going on in Washington, D.C. as both sides compete, as both sides essentially battle to strengthen their positions, to essentially reinforce their bases, if you will, their supporters. Let me know what you think of all the clips the news summary in this video. Also, please click the like button, please subscribe, please enable notifications. It really helps out the channel. A lot of effort goes into the creation of these videos. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Take care. Bye.